Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with another interesting topic in Vedic astrology today. And today we are going to be talking a little about what are your lucky and unlucky planets. So far we've been discussing about lucky and unlucky planets based on, who your Yoga Karaka is, who's your lucky planet is, based on the various principles given to us by the ancient sages, the sage Bhrigu, sage Parashara, sage Atri, sage Gautam, sage Germany, recent scholars, so on and so forth. Okay, recent scholars, when I say it, means until about 1,000 years old. And by the way, I just needed to remind you once again that all my videos are a direct reference to the ancient scriptures. It is not a figment of imagination of any modern day astrologer. So far we've been able to discuss and determine as to what are lucky planets and what our unlucky planets are based on these principles. Like I said, where the planet is placed, Dusthana houses, bad houses, good houses, a lot of the Kendras or angle houses, a lot of the trine or trikona houses, a lot of the ascendant, so on and so forth. There are various tools which we have learned from ancient Vedic astrology and ancient Vedic astrological scriptures, and we pretty much are very clear about what our lucky and what unlucky planets are based on what discussions we've had so far. But today we'll be talking about a particular tool, another very tool which can give us an indication of what our lucky and what our unlucky planets are. Okay, and those planets, to determine those planets are called a yogi planet. So a yogi planet is a planet which is a planet of success. It gives you success, prosperity, and all kinds of happiness. And then right opposite to it is the avayogi planet, which gives the opposite results. Okay, it will give you failures, it will give you disappointments in life. So we have to find out what our yogi planet is and what our avayogi planet is. Yogi planet, planet of success; avayogi planet, planet of failures. Okay, failure is a very strong word, but not so success. Let's put it this way. Okay, so first we have to find out the yogi planet. How do we find out the yogi planet? We find out the yogi planet based on the yogi point. So first we have to find out what the yogi point is, and the ruler of that nakshatra, and then determine as to which nakshatra it is placed in. Okay, and the ruler of that nakshatra becomes the yogi planet. Fairly simple. Okay, and then see the yogi point, see what zodiac sign or Rashi it is placed in. The ruler of that zodiac sign becomes a duplicate yogi. So you should expect major successes related to the yogi planet, which is the lord of the nakshatra where the yogi point is. And you should also expect major successes related to the duplicate yogi, which is the lord of the zodiac sign where the yogi point is. However, the duplicate yogi is not going to give you as much as a success as the yogi planet will give you. So duplicate yogi will also give you success, but not as much as a yogi planet. And I already told you how to find out the yogi point, yogi planet. First find out the yogi point, and then the lord of that nakshatra is the yogi planet. Then see in that yogi point which zodiac sign it is placed in, and the lord of the zodiac sign or the Rashi is the duplicate yogi. Okay, so far we are clear. Now let's find out how do we determine the avayogi planet. So avayogi is very simple. We've already determined the yogi planet. See what nakshatra it is placed in. Jump 6 nakshatras from it, and the lord of that nakshatra, which is 6th nakshatra from where the yogi point is placed, becomes your avayogi planet. Fairly simple. Okay, and then you know that avayogi planet is not going to give you success, and there's no concept generally of finding the duplicate avayogi planet, although some astrologers go deep into it and figure out what zodiac sign the avayogi point is, and or the nakshatra or the planet is placed, and then try to figure out the lord of that Rashi, but do not take that into consideration because the ancient scriptures just restrict itself to the yogi point, the duplicate the yogi point and the yogi planet, the duplicate yogi planet, and the avayogi planet. Very simple. Find out the yogi point first, see what nakshatra it is placed in. Lord of that nakshatra becomes the yogi planet. Then see the yogi point again, see what Rashi or zodiac sign it is placed in. The lord of the zodiac sign becomes the duplicate yogi. Then jump 6 nakshatras from there. The lord of that nakshatra becomes the avayogi planet. So far we are very, very clear. So how does yogi planet give us a success? Well, it gives us success in terms of material successes. So look at the dashas. Look at the dashas what are running. And then in case the dasha is of a yogi planet, it'll give you success. In case the dasha is of a avayogi planet, it may not give you that kind of a success, or it may give you troubles, all kinds of troubles. Okay, then look at the transits. See, when the transits of planets are happening, if it is transiting the yogi point, okay, means success. And if it is transiting the nakshatra, which is the sixth nakshatra from the yogi point, okay, then you may not expect those kind of successes. So look at it from first the dashas, look at it from the transits as they are happening on a day-to-day transit basis. So that'll give you an indication as to what to expect in terms of material success, or any kind of success rather, and failures. Okay, also look at in relationship compatibility. It comes in a little handy here that in case the yogi point falls in a nakshatra, which is a nakshatra of your spouses, then expect a very healthy relationship, a good, happy relationships. Okay, or if a yogi point falls in the ascendant of your spouse, then also expect a very, very healthy relationship. Okay, so these little factors have to be taken into consideration in relationship compatibility as well, along with, of course, the kuta matching and other kinds of matching, which we do as well. So, you know, this gives us an indication as to how to determine or predict successes and failures. However, there's a slight warning and a disclaimer here. Say, for example, a planet based on traditional ways, which we have learned so far through the ancient astrological scriptures, is an unlucky planet for you. Okay, say based on, you know, whether it's placed in Dusthana houses or bad houses, or it's not a good planet for you. And then based on this principle, it becomes a yogi planet. Then please do not supersede this yogi planet tool over the traditional ways of an analysis. Okay, so this should only be taken as an extension, as a supplement to the traditional ways of astrological analysis, Vedic astrological analysis, which we have discussed so far based on Bhrigu, Parashara, Gemini principles. This should not supersede that. So once again, in case a planet is unlucky for you based on the traditional ways of analysis, and the yogi planet is very, very lucky for you, I mean, it becomes a yogi planet rather, so that obviously becomes lucky for you, then do not consider that planet as lucky. Do not supersede it on the basic traditional analysis which you have done on the chart. Although it may reduce the bad effects of that unlucky planet for you, if it becomes a yogi planet in your chart, it may reduce the bad effects to some extent, but it will not give you good results in case a yogi planet has been determined or has been analyzed as a bad planet for you based on the traditional ways of analyzing a chart. So now we've understood what a yogi planet is, what a avayogi planet is, what a duplicate yogi is, and how to analyze your birth chart based on this tool of yogi and avayogi planet. Now let's find out how to find which yogi planet it is, how to find out what your yogi planet is. So these days it's fairly simple, you know, there are softwares available, you know, at a click of a button you can find it out. But if you want to do it manually, it is very simple as well. Just add the longitude and latitude of sun and moon. Okay, and then add 93 degrees and 20 minutes to it. Okay, and then that becomes your yogi point, and in case it comes to more than 360 degrees, reduce it by 360 degrees, and that becomes your yogi point. So how do we determine the longitude and latitudes? Fairly simple. Start with 0 degrees of Aries. So for example, there's a Lagna chart of Aries, and sun is placed in the 4th house. So start from 0 degrees Aries. So first house 30 degrees, second house 30 degrees, third house 30 degrees, so that becomes 90 degrees. And sun is placed, say for example, 15 degrees in the fourth house, so the total longitude of sun will be 105 degrees. Okay, and say for example in the same chart, moon is placed in the second house of Taurus at 10 degrees. So 0 degrees Aries with 30 degrees, and then go to the second house, 10 degrees, so 30 plus 10 becomes 40 degrees, so the total longitude of moon is 40 degrees. And then you add sun and moon, okay, which is a 145 degrees, because 105 plus 40 degrees becomes 145, okay, plus you add 93 degrees and 20 minutes to it, so that becomes 238 degrees and 20 minutes. Okay, and that is your and then since it's less than 360 degrees, you do not have to reduce it by 360 degrees. So that total longitude of 238 degrees and 20 minutes becomes your yogi point. So very simple. Look at what nakshatra it is placed in. The lord of that nakshatra is your yogi planet or the lucky planet. Look at what Rashi it is placed in. The lord of that Rashi or zodiac sign becomes your duplicate yogi or a lucky planet, but not as lucky as the yogi planet. And then jump six nakshatras from it. See the lord of that nakshatra, that becomes your avayogi planet, which is an unlucky planet for you. But once again, I'm warning you, look at the analysis based on the traditional ways of analysis of Vedic astrology and see whether that planet is lucky for you or not. In case that planet is a yogi planet for you, but based on the traditional ways of astrology, if it's not that lucky, do not expect major successes. All right, so in case it's very unlucky based on traditional ways of analysis of Bhrigu, Gemini, and Parashara, etc., then, and it also becomes a yogi planet for you based on this tool, then of course it may reduce the negative effects to some extent, but it will not become extremely positive or auspicious for you. So hopefully you enjoyed this video on how to determine your lucky and unlucky planets based on this new tool which we discussed today of yogi and avayogi planets. And in the meanwhile, I will recommend test it out on various charts and see and check out the analysis, test it out on your chart. And in the meanwhile also, I'll recommend subscribe to my channel, check out my website, there is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic in Vedic astrology very soon. Goodbye.